following recording is associated with compliance with ASIC Regulation 146. Financial planning subject 560 through Charles Sturt Uni. I'm Lou Coutts. The actors are Andrew and Jessie. The information's using the Australian Super Financial Services Guide.
Hi Andrew, nice to meet you. I'm glad you could find the place.
Thank you.
If you'd just like to take a seat.
I'll have a seat and we can have a chat.
Yeah. So, have you been through a financial advice process before?
I have, but it was some time ago.
Yep.
And it'd be interesting to see what comes with the recent changes that's come through the whole system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, this initial meeting will be about basically trying to have you let me know what you're looking from the process.
Yeah, for sure.
And also I'll run through the process of financial advice from our perspective. So the first thing that we really need to do is actually run through the Financial Services Guide.
Right.
So this actually provides information about the services that our organisation provides, and also how the representatives are remunerated or paid.
Okay.
And it also runs through your rights as a client.
Okay. Yep.
So it's a really important document.
Yep. In terms of the financial planning side of things, what can you do for me? What sort of advice can you provide?
Okay, so in this instance, I'm working from the Financial Services Guide of Australian Super.
Sure. And
the services they provide are related to the specific products that Australian Super provide around superannuation products.
Okay.
So I can assist you around that, both through general advice and then personal advice that's specific to your situation.
And you're obligated to put my interests first?
Yeah, so I have a fiduciary responsibility to you, which basically means that through the Australian government, we have they've implemented changes, and that means that I must put your best interests first.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm obligated to do that.
So how are you paid then?
So in this instance, we can run through the Financial Services Guide, but in this instance, you pay through the membership with Australian Super, through the fees associated with that. And I'm actually remunerated, I'm paid on a salary. I have, so I don't receive commissions or fees or bonuses for the services I provide. So I'm on a straight salary in this instance. The other information that's on the Financial Services Guide is around our complaints process. So hopefully there won't be an issue. If you do have concerns about the information that I provide to you,
there's a process.
There is a process in place, but first of all, I'd hope that you'd actually raise those with me specifically if you're unhappy with any advice that you provided. If you're not happy with the outcome, the Australian Super has a complaints resolution department. So that's the next port of call. And then if you are still unhappy with the outcome there is the Financial Services Ombudsman. And the details are on the Financial Services Guide. And the contact details for the Financial Services Ombudsman is also on the Financial Services Guide.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
We're currently working through the second role play. This involved a couple who were looking to start a family in the next 12 months and had $250,000 mortgage and $300,000 in managed investment funds. The expectation is that Jane will take 4 months paid maternity leave and take 12 months in total. The role play involves consideration of different scenarios for investment.
Okay, so we're here considering, this is Jane. So you had as your financial goals and objectives were to save so that you could actually start a family, and you're getting to a point closer to that, and hoping in the next 12 months that you might start to do that. So probably a really good time to reassess your financial goals and objectives. Obviously in a role play like this, it's a bit awkward to do that. So there would be a questionnaire that's associated with that, but it'd be questions like, what sort of income level do you want to have in your retirement? What sort of education costs do you anticipate having with your kids? Are you looking at the government system and the private system? Are there any family holidays that you overseas, or any of those sorts of things that you're looking to have? So there'd be a reassessment along those lines. I think probably it's pertinent at this time also, because your tolerance for risk, financial risk, can change over a person's lifetime. So I think that would also be something that would be required here. Obviously in a short role play we don't have the time to go through that full process, but there'd be a questionnaire associated with, compared to others, how do you think you compare with your comfort level in taking financial risks? Other questions maybe, have you ever had made a large investment in a risky investment, potentially just to see whether it would go up or down? So there'd be a process associated with that. You'd also look to review the existing investments and loans in terms of the returns of those, and the costs of the loans. Then also it warrants a review in relation to the taxation implications, which generally are best undertaken by a specialist in the tax area who's familiar with your specific situation, so an accountant. One thing that I do see is there's the moving to have a family where there would be dependents. You need to consider insurance.
I think because there's three options, isn't there, with personal insurance? There's like your income protection, and then there's your TPD, and then there's also your
life
insurance, which is pretty much going to cover if you died and you were still making repayments or something, or had overheads to cover that, so nobody else sort of puts
really relevant once you have dependents. The main income winner being Jack, and yourself as having a baby as well through your super fund, but also consider income protection insurance for Jack being the sole income earner for the period of 12 months or 8 months effectively. Obviously the benefits with that is there's peace of mind if anything goes wrong, especially once you have dependents, but there is a cost. So some of the options associated with the $250,000 mortgage and $300,000 in managed investment funds. One would be to maintain your current investment strategy. So that is dependent on the ability to absorb the reduction in income. So the 8 months of not having that second income. The benefits with that are that the strategy has worked for you up to date, and there would be...
But we also haven't had the same sort of additional costs to date either.
No, that's right. There wouldn't be the additional transaction fees and costs because you it's basically business as usual. But as you just suggested, the disadvantage with that is that the plan may no longer meet your life and financial goals at this point in time. And also your comfort level with risk once you have a baby on board possibly will change. So the second option could be to pay out the mortgage. So use the managed fund amount to cover the $250,000. The benefits of that is you won't have a mortgage. You've reduced the need for additional income to meet those mortgage repayments, which estimated at say a 5.5% interest repayment rate, you're looking at about $265 per week additional in your pocket, so that potentially that may compensate your loss of income when you're actually not working, having the baby, and you still would have $50,000 for investing, further investment or as cash. The disadvantage with that would be where your mortgage repayments and the capital growth were actually, they could be less than the income that you could generate from your managed fund, and also the potential capital growth of your managed fund. So, you may have to sell at not at an advantageous time. Another option could be to actually use the managed investment fund to leverage off that and use those funds to pay off the mortgage. That would mean that, again, you don't have the mortgage, but you would have an additional loan repayments through the leveraged managed fund. What is likely there is that the loan repayments on a home mortgage or the interest rate on a home mortgage are less than for an investment, a leveraged investment fund. But the benefit there is the interest repayments would be tax deductible because of the geared investment. This obviously is a much higher risk when you're leveraging. So when the gains that you get when the market's performing well are increased, but so are the losses in value when the market is declining. So you're exposed to interest rate risk, and there is also the possibility that the decline in value in managed investment actually large relative to your loan, and that the value of the investments don't cover the loan, and in the worst scenario, then a call can be made. And the other option could be that you maintain your managed investment, but you change the profile, your risk profile within that. So this you focused on fixed income investments for a period of time, and that can in some way compensate for the loss in your income whilst you're having the bub. But some of the disadvantages with that are changing the risk profile, and investment will incur additional costs, transaction costs. So there's some of the options. So thank you.